Okay.
we have a special guest.
Yes, we do. We have Kevin Keppy.
That's right.
So you might not recognize his face,
Maybe
but
not. Yeah.
but if you've seen the Cabinet of Curiosities or Smile or Evil, you've definitely seen him. All right, Kevin, how you been?
Great, fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, so good to see you.
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
very much appreciate you joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on and get to chat with you about
Absolutely.
your experiences so far. So
Absolutely. You're very welcome. Yeah, I'd love to talk with you guys. Yeah.
One of the things I like to talk to actors about is the casting process for you. Like
hmm
the casting process for Smile. How
hmm
was that?
Quick. It
Okay.
was quick. It was during the pandemic, so things have definitely changed.
Hmm.
And not to backtrack too far right now, but I moved to LA 6 years ago. So to do acting more professionally. So in that space, that's when I started learning more about professional auditions, all that kind of stuff. And so that was 1 year before COVID hit, and then that's when everything changed. For video self-tape auditions, and I mean they're happening before, but then there were just all of that was in place. So, so for Smile, it might have been a symptom of that, where it wasn't like a normal process, which is cool. So, thankfully for that one, super grateful. I just received an email. I was working at my part-time job at the time. Just left the store and saw an email from the casting director from Paramount, lovely lady, and she emailed me and asked me, said, "Hey, are you free tonight at 7 or 7:30 p.m. to speak with the director about this movie that we have going on over Zoom?" And so I wrote back pretty quickly and said, "Yes, I'm totally available." And granted, that was only like an hour away, so I had to like drive through LA
Oh,
5 o'clock rush hour traffic, and yeah, just like get on a computer, turn up Zoom, and turn it on, and yeah, so it was that. Just had a Zoom call with her, the casting director, and Parker Finn, the director, and talked with them a little bit. They had me do a couple of different movements and motions for the two different characters at the end of the film, and they were recording it the whole time, and it was a great little thing. And so I got to do the movements in my living room, and they got to see what I can do. They said
yeah.
like, walk like you're walking down the hallway, as this kind of creature or something, and then the second motion activity movement. We want you to like attack someone on the floor, on the ground, and start choking them. We want to see what you look like, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it was pretty quickly like that stuff, and good talking with them. And they shared that video that was recorded over Zoom to the producers and whoever else. And yeah, that's how I got the job. So it was awesome. I hadn't experienced that before, and I hadn't experienced anything like that since then. My other auditions, I either worked through creatures makeup effect shops,
Hmm.
or through like casting networks or whatever, doing self tape auditions and submitting that way. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
So let's talk about Smile a little bit.
yes,
Yeah, because I revisited it uh, a couple days ago, a couple nights ago, and
cool.
I went to the theater to see it on opening
hmm
night because I I the trailer had something, and
hmm
I wasn't sure what it was. Maybe it was the fact that it showed just enough, but not enough. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
hmm
And and uh, and I thought, well, this will probably bomb. It probably won't be scary at all, or it probably won't
hmm
be good.
hmm
Because that's what we were going through at that point in time.
Yes.
But I went and I was surprised. I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's so good. It it has tension. You don't know where it's going to go
hmm
until it gets there.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised. Yes,
Awesome.
I
and
don't. I not that there's anything wrong with the trailer for the film, but I don't know if I would have actually went to the theater had they have not done the ad. Well, it wasn't even ad campaign at that point, but the campaign they were running for the release of the film, where they were placing
Yes.
people like out in the public and things
Yes.
like that.
yeah,
Like that was really exciting. Like putting, it was a different aspect you haven't really seen for quite some time to promote a film that way, and so that was one of the things that made me actually go to the theater for that because that was just really original and unique to see that. And as Randy had mentioned at the time, I wasn't expecting much because big release, larger pictures, definitely, and wider release pictures in theaters and stuff like that for horror films are very, very hit
Mm-hmm.
and miss.
hmm
Sadly, most times miss.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it had
Mm-hmm.
potential, so I was like, yeah, but really, it was the campaign that got me in there.
Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned in a couple of our past videos, it probably didn't start with Smile, but that's kind of in my mind where I place the current stature of wider release horror films. I kind of feel like at the time Smile came out, since then, that was the start of a new wave of like horror films
right.
being accepted back into the mainstream, and not only that,
Mm-hmm.
like we're actually getting really good horror films on a
Yes,
wider release
Yeah.
basis. So I feel
yes,
like that kind of kicked off something there, and so I not only does the film work really well in a bunch of different aspects as a good film, it also is kind of, in my opinion, responsible for kind of a movement for horror to get back in there.
I agree.
Right on.
So that was really exciting. And then, of course, the movie itself is fantastic. It
Yeah,
was unique, not quite something you've seen before. It
Mm-hmm.
was creepy, which is really hard to do anymore,
Mm-hmm.
especially for horror fans. And then, of course, you yourself obviously helped with that, with
oh god,
playing the
yeah,
creatures in that,
yeah,
which is exciting. Hearing your story about how you had to do that over Zoom.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, as a performer, I'm sure you're used to doing that, but that must have been slightly weird, having to do that just over a Zoom call as opposed to maybe sending in something you've recorded or,
Totally.
actually going somewhere in person or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Uh, so, Smile obviously was not your first piece of work. You've been doing character acting, and you do have some producing and some directing and credits in there
Mm-hmm.
too. But was character acting kind of what you wanted to get into? Was that kind of like what your first foray was and what you wanted to do, or how did you get into that?
Well, thanks for asking. Yeah. Both actually. Character acting. So, anybody that knows me, I have this. I always say my origin story. My
oh,
origin story. Um, I started always want to do theater, always want to act, always want to be an expressionate person. And as a kid, way too shy, very introverted. I have an art degree from an art university or college, and so in my mid to late 20s, I really needed to be able to express myself more. I felt that I really wanted to perform art. Not only, because I was doing a day in day out job, a normal corporate 8 to 5 or whatever. So I started. I'm like, I think I need to see some theater shows. So thankfully, I'm from a town called Springfield, Missouri, in the Ozarks, and they have
oh,
an amazing art and theater community, good film community. Missouri State University is there. So my first play I ever saw was Macbeth, and it starred my good friend Sean Young, who played. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that name, but it was a great play. It kind of lit a fire, so I started taking classes at Springfield Little Theater, which is a community theater there in town. And it was me and 2 or 3 other adult actors. First time for me, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. The hardest
hmm
thing I ever had to do.
hmm
Completely vulnerable. I saw that I had all these walls up, and I needed to be able to take them down, receive criticism, feel safe, be safe, and to be able to share myself, to speak and speak clearly, and just get out from underneath the rock I was in for really my whole life. So thankfully, I went through those classes, loved it, had 2 great teachers, Chris Knox, Kristen Farr, And shortly after that, about a year and a half after that, I auditioned for a play called Bram Stoker's Dracula. My good friend Nathan Shelton was directing it, and it was through the Vandervoort Center Theater at the time, and it was an amazing show. He cast me in multiple vampire roles. The Dead Sea Captain, at the wheel, he's all like,
Nice.
tied to
Nice.
the wheel, and oh my gosh, I had such an amazing time learning about acting, like on the ground in a stage theater format and with amazing troupe of actors and crew people. And we had sold out houses every night. I think we ran for 4 or 5 weeks, and it was just an amazing experience. And it really changed me. Not only to do like creature acting, but also just to be a performer, to listen, to work with other people, to communicate effectively, and to share and know that love that you have with other people, and to create something. And my God, it was something that just absolutely changed my life. In fact, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I have the flyer of it over there on my wall. I'm sure if you can see it on the video, but the playbill. But anyways, so that was a creature acting. After that, I started taking more acting classes. I did Shakespeare in the Park, did Shakespeare shows, a lot of other funny things. So I started doing also zombie stuff. So, that question, yes. So character acting, absolutely, I love it. I love character acting. I love creature acting. I love getting behind a mask and turning into, Nightmare Mom or any kind of
Yes.
crazy, creepy character that is unimaginable, or being behind a mustache with like big chops and whatever, and being like a wily villain from a Western. I just love all that kind of stuff. It's
Mhm.
just fun. And what really drives me is to express myself and to share myself and what I'm good at and what I want to be better at, and to have that communication with other people, whether it's on screen or it's on stage, because I just love to allow people to have an experience through the
Right.
entertainment that they consume.
Yep.
Whether they're laughing, crying, shrieking, screaming, filled with joy. I mean, that is just where it is at. Because as my acting coach, teacher George Cron said, acting is such a rewarding thing. It's like alchemy. It's magic. It can change a person's their energy, their mind instantaneously. They forget about their day, their hard day, what's going on in their lives, and they're transformed to Rivendell or whatever. It's just I just love it. It's a very admirable form of art. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that a lot of actors that I talk to, and is I kind of have we all kind of have the same story. I grew up little town in Iowa, so
Mm-hmm. Where at in Iowa, if I might ask?
uh, a little town called Albia.
Albia. Okay, so I'm originally from Davenport, Iowa, which is on the
Oh,
Mississippi on the
wow,
east side. Yeah.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, there we go. There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just an hour south of Des Moines.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Okay, right
so
on.
we're half an hour from Missouri. So,
Oh, right
but
on. Good.
I grew up. I had agoraphobia, and I had
Mm-hmm.
a hard time going out. Meeting people, having friends, whatever. Because I was always shooting a Super 8 movie of some
Mm-hmm.
kind, usually horror. But I think it was my junior. I'd been involved in drama my freshman, sophomore year,
Mm-hmm.
but my junior year, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna audition for a play. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what it is. I'm gonna audition for it. The next play it comes up, and kind of help get myself out of this, fear of being around people
Yes.
and stuff. So, not thinking I would get a role,
Mm-hmm.
especially a lead role.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
Uh, first thought is like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? I can't do this. I can't do it. I cannot do it. But
Mm-hmm.
I forced myself to, and I'm glad I did. And opening night was like my very first opening night on the stage. I was like
Mm.
nervous. I was like drinking Pepto Bismol, and just so sick to my stomach. And the play was Charlotte's Web. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
And but and my biggest fear is I'm going to step out on stage and vomit. That was my biggest fear. And, but I stepped out on stage,
Hmm.
delivered my first line of dialogue, made it through the first scene, and I'm like, okay, I survived that. I can survive the rest of this. So
Yes.
yeah. And then every night after that was the same thing. I was sick to my stomach until I went out on stage. Yeah. So, but
Is that
yeah, and
funny how that goes?
yes, it is. It is. But and and I did ensembles and went to districts and national speech competitions and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and it was a blast.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, so yeah,
Right on. Yeah, man. Theater just transforms, and my sense and my perspective and my experience is that I've done a lot of. I was a associate producer with my acting teacher George Cron, his theater company. So we did a lot of like parody shows, like lots of parody shows. We did Buffy the Vampire Slayer for 7 years. We did a lot of episodes, and we did that, and some Grave Tales episodes, which are kind of like a Grand Guignol uh, theater of the extreme, like
yeah,
practical effects and stuff. So it is so rewarding to see as a director, as a producer, which I love to do, and to cast people that have never done a play before, or haven't done it since high school, and just to see them grow and then see them connect and just see the lights pop up around them, and they have all this confidence, this strength, and they're able to like find the character, see the character themselves, and then share the character with the audience. And man, is transforming. I love theater. I love film. I think it's just an amazing art form. I think it's an important
yeah,
thing for our species, because it's so good, because it really is a good way to find the confidence and strength and connection that we need in this country and this world.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on stage, and I have a pretty long theater background myself.
Yeah.
Love it. It's transformative. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
being on stage, as you would know, you have to be a lot more expressive. You have to over exaggerate, expressions on your face, sometimes a lot of
Yeah.
movements and stuff like that. Do you
Yeah.
think that kind of helped push you into the character and creature acting that you have to do? Was that kind of something that helped you along? You found yourself, more easier for you to fall into as opposed to just, typical acting?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question. And that's something that I remember when I was doing Dracula. I was down in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, one of my favorite places. And I was at a table, and there were some other ladies there, and I was talking with them and just hanging out. And then one of them asked me, like, "Are you an actor?" And I'm like saying, "Well, I'm in my first play right now." And they said, like, "You're very expressionate with what you're saying and doing." So in that sense, I don't know if it was. I don't think I was always that way, but definitely through the classes I took and through my teachers, I definitely know they were very expressionate, because they're great musical actors. And so I probably picked up a lot of those mannerisms, and especially being on stage, you have to be big. And I personally, when I'm on stage, on a big stage, I don't like to be mic'd. So I want to be able to like, project and have the right diction and all that kind of stuff. And so, but yeah, for it, all that stuff is certainly helpful for creature performance. As of like even yesterday, I was doing a makeup demo for a makeup brand here in LA called Narrative Cosmetics, and fun time working with them. They're gonna have some social media like videos and pictures coming out. Anyways, I had to wear this foam prosthetic on my face, and this character had to have like big expressions or do different things, and so you really have to work that foam
Oh
because
yeah,
it's not, you
yeah,
know, a lot of people will prosthetics will wear the actor rather than the actor wearing the prosthetics. And so
mhm,
it is very important on that aspect, especially for a creature performance. Uh, and other things I have to be careful about, because sometimes I can be too big. And I have to be very mindful of that. And I'm still, of course, just always learning and trying to be better and kick myself in the butt all the time to be so. Because sometimes, like, if they want me to be like a quirky character or whatever with a smile or a twinkle in his eye, it's easy for me to go from 0 to 12 or 18. And of course, directors, it's always, they can always bring you back, bring you down, but it's hard for them to bring you up to tell you to go higher. So, but yeah, it is one of those things that theater does allow you to do, to use your body, your mannerisms, and especially not only your face, but your arms, your hands. You know, you see it definitely with Doug Jones, all his performance work, and it's just, you know, and so that's the thing. Whenever I did Dracula, my friend Nathan said, watch this guy Doug Jones on the Buffy episode with the gentleman, you know, Hush. And so that was a huge inspiration for me when Doug is just moving around and Camden's of course in that. So it was both those guys that just they just open up a whole new world for me. Doug is the master, and Camden, I just wish I could have just met him because he was awesome in Hush. He's such an awesome performer, creature actor, and it is that sense that you have to be mindful about all that stuff. And of course, Doug has, you know, mind training and things like that, and of course, he's grown and done a lot of different things. And so, yeah, it is that kind of awareness, body awareness, is very important for creature performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself, because I do this, and I've talked to other actors too, like critiquing your performance in a movie and being like, oh, that was good, but don't do this again. Don't do that. You look stupid doing that. Do you find yourself doing that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And especially if I watch things I've done, you know, after the fact. Thankfully on Smile, I had Tom Woodruff Jr. was there. He was he was the makeup department head for us on set. And so he was there on set with me looking at the monitor. And, you know, so, you know, when between like takes or between shots or whatever, you know, I'd be able to talk with him. And, you know, so he'd kind of like, you know, kind of give me some things he's seeing and, you know, and be talking with me as almost like a coach. And it was really awesome and so appreciative because, you know, when you're on the stage, you don't really know like how things are looking until after the fact. And sometimes some directors are better than others in seeing what they want and able to communicate what they want. Like, if you like move more shoulders, you know, Kevin, like come in slower or whatever, or you know, what a certain way to communicate it. Come in with, you know, an action verb or whatever. So sometimes it can be challenging if you're working with a director who is not used to working with creatures or creature performers. They don't know like be mean, be, you know, be scary.
Well, you were lucky to have Tom Woodruff Jr. because not only making you know, being head of the makeup department, making creatures or whatever, he's also a suit performer.
I know,
so,
big time,
and you guys speak the same language. So,
absolutely. Yeah, it was such a treat. Yeah, it was such a treat. Yeah, of course, for people that don't know, he's Pumpkinhead, you know, the Pumpkinhead, you know, many other things, gorillas, and lots of different things that they did at ADI. So that's the thing is that Smile, the guys that worked, that did all the makeup and stuff, they had 2 local hires from the East Coast on set for us, and then they flew Tom and I in, and also Marty Matulis, who was also in Smile. But all the creature effects was made and designed and created at ADI here in LA, Amalgamated Dynamics Incorporated. And so that was their last movie was Smile. They had Smile and Prey come out, and they did Prey before Smile, and that was the last one. And so it was such a reward to be with Tom, just doubly because it was going to be the last movie for that company, and having him with there on set was awesome.
Oh, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
You're lucky.
I mean, yeah, I know. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I know we've hit on Smile a little bit, and I'm sure that was a fantastic and exciting experience for you.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you don't want to necessarily say you have a favorite that you did because you don't want to make any other productions feel bad. But I would love to know if you really had what was the most fun you had with a character or a character you got to play on set or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, you're right. A lot of people ask me that question all the time. What was your favorite creature or whatever to do? And they're all different. They're all different. It's just like your children. You don't, whatever. I know the biggest one that I really love to do, and I was so nervous doing it. It was impactful in many different ways. Was a character called the Witch, and the Witch of God, what was the Witch of something? Anyway, it was a show called The Quest on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore. It was a like an 8 or 10 episode, half reality, half scripted show, and I worked with Spectral Motion on that, playing two different creature characters. One was the Witch, and the other one was the Serpent King. And the Witch was in the first episode. It was just so awesome. Uh, good friend Norman Cabrera sculpted the mask for
Oh,
me, and I think
I
the
know,
hands. He had an
I know, Norm.
amazing, yeah, awesome. Yeah, Norman's an
Yeah.
amazing talent, and so he sculpted that, and Spectral Motion made this amazing thing for me this whole costume body for me to wear. Two amazing makeup artists, Ozzy Alvarez and Kelsey Burke, applied the makeup on me for the Witch, and it was just so awesome, and it was such a amazing experience. It was my first professional experience in LA, and this is during COVID, the very height of it. So glad it worked out. But it was like a half reality, half scripted show, and so it was mostly like kids and teenagers enjoying this
Right.
adventure. And they don't know what's going on. There's monsters and things. So it was really
Yeah.
awesome. And I got to be this character that was I had lines, but I also had to be in the moment and make sure and work with the kids, the teenagers, and
Yeah.
if they're doing something, I need to respond. I need to like tell them what to do, and get into a witch character and scare them. And this took place in a forest at night in Napa Valley by a castle. So as moonlight was coming down, and I had this amazing entrance, and like, oh, I see that. There you are, and I get to scare
Mhm.
them, So, and the camera's rolling. It was just so fun. It was so rewarding to play that character, and uh, you know, so it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think isn't the witch on your reel?
Yes, it is. Yes, that is on
Yes.
my
Yeah.
reel. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Should I pop the question?
Yes.
The
Yes. The
so,
question.
the
This
The
question.
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, we always pops the question.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh,
I like to ask anybody we interview that
yeah.
is a former actor, director, whatever it is. After spending some time in the industry, do you have if you're given any amount of money, if you're given the opportunity to work with absolutely anybody you could, actors, directors, writers, producers, does not matter, the whole thing, is there a dream project that you would really love to do?
I mean, I would have to think about that first and foremost, more fully. But I know, first off, what really got me into liking creatures and monsters. Well, I mean, of course, the creature from the Black Lagoon. I saw that when I was like 2, which was very formative. But a show I always really loved was the X Files, and with Chris Carter and Glenn Morgan and James Wong, just loved their creatures and all the different entities they had coming on and all that stuff. And I just always would love to have been in that show,
Mhm.
And Darren Morgan played, I think the host, the worm thing. And
Oh yeah.
so it'd be wonderful. I mean, I think they're talking about maybe rebooting that to some degree. And I don't know how much Chris Carr is involved or Glenn Morgan and those guys or whatever. But I would just love to work with those guys and do some scripted television that's monstrous and fun and crazy, and that'd be a lot of fun. And I mean, I have several dream things. That's one. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a big deal to me. It's been very, very important and special to me, and I would love to be like a monster in that as well. And I love that was very that I looked up to that quite a bit, and maybe just lastly, like I just really want to work with Doug Jones. And Doug, if you're watching, I want to work with you. Share the stage with Doug. He's the master. As I always say, like in Buffy, the first season of Buffy, there's a character called the Master. He's the master vampire. He's sired all other vampires. Angelus, and Darla, and all those different vampires. And that's how I kind of feel how Doug is. He's like the master. He's sired me, to become another creature of the night. And he's a most wonderful person. And it would just be awesome to work with him at some point in time. And, we've talked and stuff like that. He's amazing. So maybe at some point in time, either in a creature sense or even like in a comedy or a Western or whatever, that'd be like a dream kind of thing, just because I always like to pay things forward for people that give me things. I just wanted to share that out in return, and to share my appreciation for what they have done for me and to me in my life, and to be able to reciprocate that. And I know Doug's that way, and X-Files that way, and Buffy's that way. So, and just bring all my friends and family together along for the ride, and just everybody just have fun and excel and succeed,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's been really fun listening to you tell your stories and stuff like that, because you're talking to my inner child a lot here.
Oh yeah, cool.
But like Buffy was like, that was like it for me.
Yes.
When that started, and seeing that go on, and X-Files, getting to check out those creature of the week, type of situation, and then of course moving into the future, when Supernatural started to come out.
Yes,
also,
right.
But I love Buffy is where that was the first time I think I really fell in love with like a horror, if you will, as kind of TV show, and I have very extremely fond memories of that show, and that. So it's just been
cool.
Wonderful listening to you talk. It's painfully obvious how much you love what you do and how excited you are doing all this stuff. Like, it just emanates off you, and it's extremely exciting to see somebody that in love with what they do. It's always a pleasure, and I'm sure any of our viewers or listeners will see and hear that too. But
thank you, Craig.
Fantastic. I love it. I can't wait to see what you have coming out forward. I don't know if you have anything you can talk about in the works, but feel free to plug away here on the platform.
Well, I'm running for the presidency of the United States. No, just kidding. Not doing it. I wrapped on a film, a really awesome movie 2 weeks ago. A movie called, they just announced it a few days ago on Hollywood Reporter, a film called The Wolf and the Lamb. It's a thriller Western with a little bit of a horror spin twist to it. An amazing cast, amazing crew. I got to play a really amazing character I really enjoyed doing. So I'm not sure when that will be coming out, but I know it now is in post-production. And there's several stars attached to it as well, and a lot of amazing people. It was such an amazing experience. It's just one of those things I love, ever since I started on this journey. And it's been one of the things that's been feeding my soul all the while, is that you get to meet and work with such amazing people, and also just, talk with amazing people like you guys, and to just share these things. And it's all about the love, and just, I get to be this vampire with this person, and I get to have Peter Weller next to me when I'm in this huge monstrous, thing. And like, do you know who Peter Weller is? And, just all this amazing stuff. And, to be in, yeah, I know. And Peter Weller wanted a photo with me. And it was just all these amazing things that it's just, you got to pinch yourself, but this is stuff that feeds my soul, because, not everything in life is easy, of course. But it is through our companionship, our camaraderie, and the arts and the horror community, and the entertainment community as a whole. It is just what really propels and moves us forward, and
Yeah,
to want to discuss and share and have this really tight community. I just love it.
yeah. I mean, yeah. There's so much love in the horror community. I mean, there
Hmm.
is really.
It is the
It's
best genre
it's
for it. I
yeah.
mean,
It's
just
amazing.
plain straight up.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
see it whenever I go to horror conventions, it's the same deal. Their horror conventions are different than other conventions I've been to, and you see it. And people know all the movies and the lines, and
Oh gosh. Yeah.
they're doing it for the right reasons. It's almost going like to like a metal show. They're there
Yeah.
for they
Yeah.
love the music. They're
It's,
connected. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like it's a good. It's funny that you mentioned rock and metal and horror. They
yes,
always kind of go hand in hand, but they're the
Right.
scary genres, but they end up being the most loving and accepting.
Yes.
Of all the genres out there, I always find that
Yeah.
very interesting. It's
yeah, I
probably why
know,
I
right?
it is almost Halloween. We're in the spooky season.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I won't make you pick a favorite horror movie of all time, but I
Ooh.
will ask you if you have a favorite one for the spooky season when it starts. Do you have like a favorite one you watch every year around Halloween time?
Well, good question, and I'd love to ask you guys that same question too. But I know an easy one for me is just always The Exorcist. The Exorcist is always it's an
Nice.
amazing movie. It's stood the test of time. The practical effects, with Dick Smith and everything that happened with that movie, it's just that's a usual every annual thing, and it's that one and Nights of the Living Dead, George Romero's first black and white. I mean, I just
Mhm.
love those two. Of course, I have many other movies I love to watch, but what are your guys's?
Wow.
Oh man,
You go.
I'll go.
You go.
I'll give a
I
couple as well because
yeah.
one of my answers is so it's just painfully typical that you have to add something to it. But like one of my it might be my favorite horror film of all time is the original Halloween.
Oh, cool.
And
Yes.
there's just not a better movie for Halloween season than Halloween. I
Mm-hmm.
have such a deep love for it. Michael Myers is my favorite, horror slasher type character. So Halloween is always a must for me every year. I always revisit the Monster Squad on Halloween
Ah,
time.
cool.
It's just something about the amalgam of multiple monsters
Right.
mixed with the
Right.
kids. It kind of gives you that nostalgia, even though obviously it's set back in the 80s because it came out then. But it's also mixing kids in kind of makes you feel nostalgic for trick or treating and that type of stuff. So those Halloween and Monster Squad are two I always revisit every
That's
Halloween.
cool. Right on.
Multiple times a year. But
Yeah. Okay. Me.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the best trilogy ever made.
Yes.
Okay. Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, and The Son of Frankenstein.
Oh,
In that
cool.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
will watch. I will watch them on Halloween night.
Right
Yeah,
on.
and I will watch Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I watched Halloween Ends on
Mm.
Halloween.
there you go.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Cool.
I can't really, pick one.
I know.
But yeah, it's hard to. Like my dream project would be doing an accurate adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That's
Oh, yes.
and
Yes.
Del Toro's doing that right now. So.
Yes.
I
Yep,
hope
indeed.
it's not good, because if it's good, then it's like, well, there goes my dream.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
they're always looking for, new things to come up every few years, so.
yeah, so that IP is, it'll be
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
bad.
it will.
I know we're
Uh,
trying to let you go here. Do you have a favorite monster? Just kind of
Oh,
out of
yeah.
all the
Yeah,
creatures
in
and stuff
general,
out there,
yeah.
being a creature and character actor yourself, do you have a favorite type of monster?
I mean, favorite monster. Well, I have. Uh, vampires. I love vampires, of course, but of course, the thing that's I've always looked up to. I'll just grab the picture off the wall real quick.
Okay, great.
Is
Awesome.
He left.
is that guy right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it is
awesome.
that guy. It is that guy um, that really inspired me. As I said, whenever I was 2 years old, I saw it on black and white TV, you
Yeah.
know, and it was just such a stunning thing for me to see. And I wondered, is this thing real or is it fake? What is this thing? And I think it's one of those things that just stay with me, my subconscious, for a long time.
So, if I ever need a tall creature, I think I know your manager.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
we have a way to communicate here. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I might need a tall creature at some point.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to let
Yeah.
you go now.
Kevin,
Perfect.
thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Yes, thank you so much.
What an absolute
Yeah.
pleasure to have you on. It's been an absolute blast. I
Yes.
love chatting about all this stuff. Really excited for your future. I hope you get
Yes.
to do some of your dream projects,
Yes.
and we wish you the absolute best.
And
in your
Man.
future endeavors.
yeah,
Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it.
Anytime anything happens, anything changes, whatever, we'll have
Okay.
you on
Absolutely.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Will do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This has been such a rewarding and awesome time with you guys. So, Randy,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Craig, thank you so much. This has been awesome.